Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and today I will be testing this HP G1A workstation with the AMD Ryzen AI Max Pro 395 with the Radeon 8060 graphic. So this is a similar video I've created a few days ago, just the difference in this video I'm going to test it in the Linux environment, and I will test it with several models using Ollama, and I will also use the LM Studio to test two different models to compare between Ollama and LM Studio to see what's the difference between those two software packages, how fast models on both of them. For the purpose of this video, the laptop is pre-configured to have 64 GB of RAM assigned to system memory and 64 GB is assigned to the GPU. And as you can see, everything is prepared for the test. And let's load the first model, which is the smallest and is Qwen 3.4b. Before we continue, I will show you the settings I've got for the LM Studio. I've got AMD Radeon recognized by the software. The memory capacity is just recognized for the RAM, and VRAM is showing 0 GB. So it's probably still not ready for this hardware, and the software will need to be updated to properly recognize this hardware. Let's run the first model and see how it performs. Let's say hi. So we've got 52.34 tokens per second. Let's ask another prompt. .57 tokens per second from the 4 billion parameters model. Let's try another one. Okay, we've got 41.60 tokens per second from the Qwen 3.4b. I think this is enough, and we can switch to the next one. Okay, as a next one, I will use the Gemma 3 27B quantization 8. Let's say hi. 7.14 tokens per second. This is very similar result to what we achieved in the Windows. Let's give it another chance. So we've got 6.94 tokens per second from the Gemma 3 27B quantization 8. This model is 29 GB in size. I think we can switch to the next one. Okay, as a next model I will run Qwen 3 32B. I've got 8.61 tokens per second from the Qwen 3 32 billion parameters. Let's give it another chance. Okay, in the Qwen 3 32B, last question gave it, asking about the joke, 8.18 tokens per second. I think this is enough to understand how fast it can be in this Linux environment. Let's switch to the next model. As the next model, I'm going to run QWQ32B. Let's say hi as a first. So I've got 8.8 tokens per second for the first prompt. Let's ask something else. Okay, we've got 8.4 tokens per second from the QWQ32B quantization 4. I think this is enough. let's switch to the next one. And as a last model running in Ollama on this Fedora Linux operating system, I will use the Qwen3 30B83B. Let's start. 47.42 tokens per second. Let's ask something else. 44.21 tokens per second. Let's ask the final question. $34.74 tokens per second from this final question, asking about the snake game in Python. I think this is enough for Ollama testing. We can switch to the LM Studio and see if it performs better. We've got LM Studio here, and I've got two different models available. I've got Qwen3 32B and Qwen3 4B, 4 billion parameters. The Qwen3 32B is already loaded, but let's change the settings to ensure GPU offload is at maximum. Reload the settings. We can now ask the first question. So I've got 10.15 tokens per second from the high. Let's ask something else. You can see actually the video memory use is 23 gigabytes. System memory is not used in this case. So looks like it's correctly using the GPU memory. It's not using NPU, of course, but I was afraid it will use the CPU and not GPU. So I've got 9.78 tokens per second from this model running on LM Studio Linux Fedora 42 workstation, just been released, and it should have all the latest drivers for this CPU, and we are running it on the HP laptop G1A with 128 GB of RAM. Let's eject this model and let's try the smaller one. Interesting, there is only 36 cores available for the smaller model. Okay, 62.53 tokens per second. Let's ask something else. So I've got 52.76 tokens per second from this smaller model. So we've got 52.76 tokens per second from the LM Studio running Qwen3 4B, and in Ollama we had also 50 and 40, depends on the questions. This is a negligible and probably not big difference between those two packages. So Qwen3 32B we had 8.61, and in LM Studio we had over 10, so it's slight difference in the speed, not the massive one. Okay, before we finish and I move to the Windows, I just quickly show you the version of the software Linux, which is a Fedora Linux 42 Workstation Edition, running with the Cinnamon 649, and we've got 62 gigabytes assigned to the system memory and 64 gigabytes assigned to the GPU. Please let me know if I should have done it differently, what else I could do, and if you have any ideas how to speed it up or what settings shall I change in this system. I will be open to any suggestions, so in the next video I can follow your advice and create the test procedure that will more likely give us better answers. So let's switch quickly to Windows and test some of those models and see if there is any difference between Linux running on this laptop, which is the latest HP G1A running 128 GB of RAM and Ryzen 395 AI Max. Okay, we are back into the Windows. We've got the LM Studio open and we've got Windows PowerShell with models to run, and let's have a look in the settings of the LM Studio what has changed since our last video. So we've got 63.78 gigabytes available as a memory for the RAM, and VRAM is 0, but we've got now Vulkan runtime available, and the AMD Radeon 8060 graphics card is recognized by the system. In my previous video I didn't have this installed and I had only 2.67 tokens per second generated by the model, but this time it should be different. Let's test it and see. So I've got already loaded the Qwen 332B and we've got allocated 64 gigabytes into the system memory. Let's test it. So I've got 8.28 tokens per second for the first question. Let's ask something else. So when you have a look on the right, the power consumption of the GPU is 45 watts and the temperature is just 65. And this is probably because I've got not original charger connected to the laptop. I am currently using the Dell docking station, which is also over 100 watts power, but it's not the genuine charger for this laptop. So let's swap it in a second and we can test it again and see what the difference it will be like. So we've got 7.77 tokens per second. I will switch now the charger. Okay, I've switched the charger. Now I've got connected the original charger that came with the laptop, and let's try sending another prompt and see what happens. So we see now 71 watts is being consumed by the GPU and the temperature gone up to 70 degrees. Let's see if this is any different to the speed we had in a second ago when the almost half of the, not half, 45 watts was consumed instead of the 70 watts currently with the charger that came with the laptop. So this time we've got 8.54 tokens per second as an answer. We had 7.7 tokens per second using the non-genuine charger, but also powerful charger from the Dell workstation. Let's give it another go and see if this will change in any way. So we've got 8.52 tokens per second and we had 7.7 tokens using the Dell charger. So the difference is around 10% between using the charger that came with the laptop and a charger that I'm using with my Dell docking station. Both chargers are over 100 watts, just the non-HP charger is probably not recognized by the system. But when you look on the power consumption, we've got 45 watts consumed by the GPU when using not recommended charger, and 70 watts when we are using the HP charger, but the speed difference is just 10%. I would rather run it a bit cooler, consuming less power, than get 10% boost. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Let's switch to the next model. We've got Llama 4 Scout 17B, which is 32 gigabytes in size. Let's load it and see how it performs. Okay, let's send first prompt. Let's say hi. 13.53 tokens per second. So Llama 4 Scout 17B 30 gigabytes in size is actually running at 15.38 tokens per second, which is not bad for the size of this model. Let's ask for the Python snake game. Around 15 tokens per second using the Llama 4 Scout 17B, so which is not bad actually for size of the model. Let's eject it and let's have a look what Llama can give us. We had around 50 tokens per second using Linux for this model. Let's see how much we can get using the Windows environment. Let's say hi. 50.48 tokens per second. So we got 45.23 tokens per second. This is very similar what we've seen in Linux, and I don't think there is any difference. Let's try the Qwen 3 32B to be sure. So in the Linux we had around 8-10 tokens per second for this model, and just tested in the LM Studio, and let's see if we have something better than that. So I've got 8.44 tokens per second. Let's ask another question, but this looks exactly the same as we've seen in Linux and we've seen now in LM Studio. So I've got 8.04 tokens per second. I think there is not much difference between Linux or Windows, and not big difference even using different chargers. There is a difference when using it on a battery only, but I will not test it because this is not the purpose of this test. Let me know if you want to see it running on a battery, then I can do this test and publish another video. As a last thing, I want to show you this the software Amuse provided by the AMD, generating different pictures, and let's generate something nice. Yeah, this is great. Local generated images, you can use any prompts, and you can also create a video, and you can add filters, so you can drop your own image and redesign it or create the different versions of your own pictures. You can draw different things and create images from it. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Tell me if you want to see some more of it. I think for now this should be enough to understand the performance of those models, and running on this hardware, running in a Windows, running in a Linux environment. I think before the new drivers new software versions are released for the CPU, we have to wait and see how it will perform. But for now, I think there is not enough support yet to get maximum performance from this CPU and maybe from this laptop. Let me know in the comments if you want me to test something else, do it in different ways, change something in the settings that I maybe didn't do. I open to your suggestions. If you like the comment, please consider subscribing to my channel and give me a like if you like it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.